Hey guys, welcome. Another Friday, another chat. Thank you for joining me. How's everyone today? It's been it's been a bit of a manic week this end. We've had loads and loads of stuff today. You guys have gone absolutely mad for my video this morning on Neod, which is I fell in love with that brand. Absolutely phenomenal. And you guys went absolutely mad for it. So it's been literally a manic day answering all the questions and stuff, but it's been absolutely fantastic. What's everybody been up to? Hey AR, how are you? Hey Jenny, how are you? I got home literally about a day ago. It was so nice to see everybody. I went up to see family, had a lovely chill time. It was absolutely fantastic. So it was just nice to. We've been in quarantine for so like lockdown for so long. It was actually nice to go and have a bit of, just a bit of family time that wasn't, the same people, the same four walls. Yeah, it was definitely nice. What's everyone been up to this week? Oh, just get comfortable because if like last week we overran a lot last week, so I better get comfortable. Had my quarantine haircut, so not quite. My mum's a hairdresser, so she did actually, but she didn't have all her like salon stuff which she left in the salon, so she did her best. That's all we can hope for. Thanks, Jenny. Michaela, hello, welcome. Hi, Tom. How are you? So, Tom, just here for a bit. What are you up to now? Anything exciting? Hey, Andrea. Hey, Nasmin. How are you? Yeah, I just can't believe it comes around so quick. Like we're already at Friday, and another week has gone like that, and it's just been absolutely crazy. And this week has been absolutely mad on the channel. We've had so many like different things going on and different videos, and every video's done really well. Which is absolutely fantastic and mind blowing, and I'm just so grateful and loving life at the moment. Geeta says, what let's have a look. Oh, that just what's the best product for normal skin? Well, Geeta, really good question. If you've got normal skin, you are blessed. Everyone has something that they want to deal with. But I always say if you have normal skin, the best thing to do is keep it that way. So definitely avoid things like anything that's too harsh on your skin. Just work with what you need. You need your cleanser, you need your moisturizer, you need an exfoliator irrespective of what your skin type is. Definitely get an exfoliator to really bring out the glow, because you can have normal skin but still lack a little bit of the glow, and a hydrating serum. So all you need. If you've got normal skin, you can enjoy things that have fragrance in. So I'd say if you like fragrance, enjoy it, because if you're not super sensitive, it's one of the few groups of people that can enjoy a bit of fragrance in their skin. So enjoy that, because many can't. And I just say stick to a bog standard routine of a cleanser, an exfoliator, a serum of your choice, be it vitamin C would be really fantastic, retinol in the evening, and your moisturizer and SPF. Actually, that's quite a long. When you think of it, it's quite a long, but you know what I mean. You don't need to add in things like salicylic acids. You don't need to have specialist exfoliators. You can just stick to a glycolic acid. So I'd say if you have normal skin, usually it means your skincare routine can be a little bit cheaper, which who doesn't want to save some coin? So that's all good. And you can be a little bit more open to different products. You don't have to be as tailored. So enjoy things at the drugstore. Keep it cheap and enjoy things at the drugstore would be my top tip. Tom says, at my parents' house, I've been visiting for a few days. Oh, that's lush. Same here. I've literally just come back from mine. And it has been gorgeous to get away to see everybody. Sterling, the dog, got so much fuss. I've got a young niece and nephew who are, I should know this, 5 and 4, I think. And honestly, they went mad for him. Apparently, my niece had a huge crying fit when she got home from nursery and realised that he wasn't there because I'd taken him back. Even though we'd done the full goodbye in the morning, still wasn't happy. So he has been spoilt rotten. So he's snoozing over in the corner there, and I don't think I'm going to see him all night because he's just exhausted. Kevin, welcome. Hello, Kevin, welcome. Greetings from sunny Chicago. Well, we've got a kind of sunny UK here. It's been really wet, but I don't mind because I'm a keen gardener and the garden looks gorgeous for all the rain, so I'm not that bothered. Annabelle says, so excited, made it this week. Hi, Annabelle, welcome. I know this is kind of like, I love getting into a routine with these. Every Friday, 6 o'clock. I've got my mask today, actually. This one is the Moisture Bomb Eye Tissue Mask from Garnier Skincare. I felt like I don't want to do a whole. I did a whole face mask yesterday, so I thought I'm just going to do an eye one. And I'm not expecting to like it, but I'm going to give it a go. And you never know, I might really love it. So we'll see. Geeta says, oh, normal to dry. Oh, okay. So if you've got normal, but it can be on the dry side, your key thing and your best friend in your skincare routine is going to be your humectant. There's no point just putting a really thick, heavy moisturizer on and hoping that does the job, because quite often it won't. What you need is a humectant as a base hydrator. So hyaluronic acid or a polyglutamic acid would be amazing. The Inculis do both, and they're both really reasonably priced, so check them out. The Ordinary do hyaluronic acid. I would go for their marine hyaluronics over their hyaluronic acid. It's just better, more hydrating, and then actually just stick with a normal skincare routine, because the dry is just the dehydration, and often it could be a surface issue. So get yourself a humectant, and then keep the rest of your skincare routine the same. So we've got a question here: which ingredients can calm my red skin? That's a really good question. If you have red skin, you need to ask yourself what the cause of it is. Is it because you've done a treatment that's been a little bit invasive or a little bit hard on the skin, such as exfoliation, or is it just general redness? If you've got general redness, it might just be some underlying rosacea or capillary issues. And the best thing you can do is buy the Rosolaic AR Intense Serum by La Roche-Posay. That is hands down the best best serum for getting rid of redness. If you use that for 2 weeks, you'll see a noticeable difference in the amount of redness in the skin, and it is honestly fantastic at supporting the barrier function and supporting those capillaries so they don't look quite as enlarged and leading to the excess blood flow, which is what causes the flushing and the redness. So get the La Roche-Posay Rosolaic AR Intense Serum. You'll never look back. Mohini says, which brand will be the best toner for oily skin? Ooh, so if you want to tone it for oily skin, a lot of people tend to use stuff that's full of alcohol and strips the skin. You don't want to do that, because you don't want to strip the skin. You want to like support it in dealing with the oil level. I would actually, if you want to go super cheap and you want to go drugstore and affordable, the Thayer's with Witch Hazel. A lot of people say, Witch Hazel, I hate Witch Hazel. It's fine, as long as you're not super sensitive, it's absolutely fine to use Witch Hazel, so don't worry about that. And the Thayer's is really good at it'll just take out some of that oil but not strip the skin, so that's really good. If you're super oily and like a grease slick like me, then I would recommend using something like one of the Clinique clarifying lotions. They're two, I feel, that give you a good starting point for the rest of your skincare routine. So those are the two that I'd recommend. If you just want to use a toner that can help with breakouts or active breakouts, then a salicylic acid toner would be really good, or a glycolic acid toner. Both will work really well. Let's have a look. Oh, Jenny says the malls, restaurants, patios and salons have officially opened back here. Oh, amazing. So Jenny, you are looking on point. Your hair will be fabulous. You'll be dining out all over the place. No, here we are still very much not open. Although like most of the shops are now open, but hair salons, no. You can tell because you walk around here and everyone's got like roots to here. So the hair salons definitely not open. Nail salons and things not open. But most of the shops are, and I think they're gonna all open on the 4th of July. So literally can't wait. I might just have my whole head shaved just for the relief of not having like a helmet of hair. Let's have a look. Rhea says, how to get rid of closed comedones? That's a really good question and really difficult. Your best bet for getting rid, you can't really get rid of them once they're created. You have to sort of accept that they're going to come to the surface. It's just going to be one of those things that has to erupt and has to be dealt with. It's very difficult to get rid of them without causing them to erupt. I would recommend, if you're going to go down the route of a treatment, to get Differin and adapalene gel. So Differin is the general trade name, but adapalene gel, which is sort of retinol, which binds. How it works is it binds in the hair follicle to the retinoic acid receptors, and it works in quite a strategic way to prevent the appearance of comedones, more so than any other retinol. So I would, if I had lots of comedones under the skin, and just that's those, for those who don't know, that sort of like bumpy texture that you get, I would say kind of accept that they're there. They're not going to go away without erupting. So accept that that's going to happen. Get an adapalene gel, which will prevent future comedones from emerging, and also will increase the cellular turnover, will sort of cause all of the ones you have to purge. So it'll look a little bit worse before it looks better, but after that, your skin will look fabulous. So adapalene gel is your best bet if you've got closed comedones. Grace, welcome, Grace. Thanks for joining the chat. Says I've been getting spots on my forehead. Any suggestions? This is really common. So there's a couple of things that can cause spots on the forehead. Generally speaking, it can be stress triggered. So I would look at your lifestyle. Is there anything that's causing you stress? Look at the things which are causing you stress and see whether you can do anything to mitigate that. Also, we quite often cause them by touching our forehead. So we often lean on our forehead. If we're asleep, we can do that as well. We rub our forehead. It's an area with, more so than any other area of the skin that we do touch. So think about, if you just think for an hour, how many times you touch your forehead. If you just monitor it, that is probably one of the biggest causes of causing that oil to build up, bacteria to be transferred. So work on touching the forehead as minimal as possible. In terms of actual treatments for that, a really good exfoliator, I would probably get, if you're already using an exfoliator, just in the area where you're getting a lot of breakout, get an azelaic acid, because that's going to help. That's an antimicrobial as well, so that's going to help with any of the buildup of microbes and bacteria, and just keep that at bay. So if you do touch your hand, touch your skin accidentally, it's not going to make the biggest bit of difference. So I would say keep doing what you're doing. Touch the area less. Be mindful of how often you touch the area. If you do, stress to a minimum, but also get an azelaic acid and put it on there on top of what you already do, and you will notice that the microbial count will go down, and so the bumps and redness will go down as well. It's a great anti-inflammatory as well, so you won't they won't appear as noticeable, which I think a lot of people like. Yeah, oh Tom, yeah, I shall send you lots of love from the UK and hope that all your stores open very soon, because honestly, I loved lockdown at the start. Not because I couldn't do anything, but I thought it was quite nice that we all got time out of our busy lives to actually just have a bit of chill. Now I'm fully ready for everything to go back to normal. I just want nice food, eating out, being able to go to the shops and not having to queue for hours before you can get in, all the nice stuff. Oh, so question. I've got textured skin. What can I do to smooth it out? The key thing is exfoliation. So get yourself a really good exfoliator, but also get yourself a retinol. There's two things you need to do. You need to prevent the texture from reappearing and deal with it in the first place, and then prevent it from reappearing. Exfoliation will deal with it in the first instance. I would say glycolic acid. If you've got normal skin, glycolic acid is the one to go for. If you can get a daily one, like the 7% toning solution by The Ordinary is really good and it's quite cheap. Use that and that will help deal with the texture. But if you use a retinol in the evening, every evening, that will help with the texture and prevent it from reoccurring. So it's sort of like a two-pronged attack. You need the exfoliator and then the retinol in the evening. Stacey says, "Oh yeah, I caught a live one." Hi, Stacey. Nice of you to join us. Thank you. Can I use the ordinary copper peptides every night? You absolutely can. A lot of people ask me. It might have been you that asked me, Jenny, or but I've had it before. Quite a few people have said, "Can I use?" Which should I use? The normal, like the buffet by The Ordinary, or the copper peptide buffet? The copper peptide costs more than the buffet, so I always say to people, work on what your price point is. Copper isn't a naturally occurring element so in our skin, so we can't synthesize it, and we've struggled to get it from our diet. So if you do want it included in a skincare routine, a topical preparation is what you need. However, you don't need to get the copper peptide version if you can't afford it. Start with the buffet, and if you feel that you have the money to spend, I think it's only like an extra £6 or £7, but not everybody has that. So if you can afford it, I would get the copper peptide one, because you get a little bit of extra. Copper peptides are fantastic at producing, supported with the production of collagen, so it will have a benefit if you can afford it. But yes, you can use it every single night, and there's no problem. Just use it as you would the buffet or any other peptide serum. Nasmin says, my skincare right now, Body Shop Rice Toner. Oh, good call. I love the Body Shop Rice Toner. Inky Collagen Booster, beautiful product. I love that product. Alpha Arbutin, Boots Q10, and an Olay Night Cream. Would you consider this a good regime? Oh, you're great, by the way. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the products, I mean, the Body Shop Rice Toner, life-changing. Love that product. Inky's Collagen Booster, I did a whole video on and basically raved about how amazing it was. I love that. Alpha Arbutin, fantastic as a brightening agent, and the Boots Q10 is gorgeous as an antioxidant. So and an Olay Night Cream is just a really nice thick night cream, absolutely fine. I would The Olay Night Cream, is that the one with retinol in or not? Because I think the only thing you're missing out is you don't have a specific exfoliator. I would recommend getting an exfoliator if you don't want to use it every single day, because you seem to have your routine quite set. It's a good routine. If you don't want to use it every day, I would just get a weekly exfoliator. An enzyme. You like rice. I'm guessing you like the rice toner. So you probably really like a rice enzyme exfoliator. The Dermalogica do one. There's some really beautiful rice enzyme exfoliators. I'd get one of those, use it twice a week, and that would just like supercharge your skincare routine. And I'd look to include a retinol. I don't know if the Olay cream is the one with retinol, because they do one with retinol, so perhaps just switch the night cream to the one with retinol, and then literally you'd have a perfect routine. I love that routine, and there's some real, like, that the Inculus collagen booster is like a peptide masterclass. In love with this. Is the SK2 worth the hefty price tag? Right, an essence, very different from a toner, but the two kind of get used interchangeably. So a toner, the purpose of the toner is to balance the skin's pH and to provide some hydration for the next skin steps. The point of an essence is supposed to be a toner, but with some element of active ingredient in there, or some element of skin boosting properties. The SK2 is, I'm a bit dubious about toners, about essences, sorry. Big South Korean skincare trend. They love it over there. I don't think you need one. I would rather you spend your money. If you're on a tight budget, I would rather you spend your money on a vitamin C or a retinol or some other good quality products. If skincare is your hobby and you don't mind spending the money, then absolutely an essence can be your friend, and they can work really well. Of all the essences I've ever used, the two that I would recommend would be the SK2, because it's got fermented sake, or partially fermented sake in there, so it's really good from a prebiotic perspective. That helps to balance out the yeasts in the skin. It helps to support the barrier function of the skin, and is just beautifully hydrating. It's quite expensive, but actually you only need about 4 drops to do the whole face. So a full bottle lasts me 3 months, so I don't think actually that's a bad price point when you split it over 3 months. Love that product. I also really like the smell. Well, I didn't like it because it was too slimy for me, but I like the idea behind it, and people rave about it. It's Cosrx Snail Mucin Power Essence. If you're dehydrated, that's just going to start your skincare off with like a burst of hydration, and people rave about it. I found it a bit slimy for me, but it did work to hydrate, so definitely worth it. But yeah, an essence, nice to have rather than an essential, I would say. Rhea says, please make a video on treating post-inflammatory arrhythmia. That's a really good point. I am actually going to do a video. I've got one coming up in, it'll be next week, on inflammation in general and what we can do about inflammation in the skin, because there's a lot of skin issues which can lead to inflammation, and it's really hard to tackle. So watch this space, there is going to be a full video on that. Abby E says, I'm using tretinoin and I work my way up to 3 times a week. On nights, I'm not using tretinoin. Should I be using a less potent retinol product, or is the tretinoin a few times a week enough? Great question. And tomorrow's video, because I've just started using tretinoin, basically my skin goes in cycles where I get really oily, then I have like a year of no oil, then it gets really oily again. It's hormonal, it's environmental, it's a whole myriad of hell. So I've actually started using tretinoin again. I'm starting my first night tonight. And I just use it for 3 months to help balance the sebum in my skin. Then I go back to my normal Inculus retinol. What we call the retinol uglies, basically the awful skin that you get for the first 6 weeks of a retinol. So tomorrow's video is all about how to tackle that. You can use a lower strength retinol the nights you're not using tretinoin. I personally would say if you're currently in the working up to stage, I wouldn't. I would just use it. If you're up to 3 times a night from what you said, that's fine. I wouldn't use it. If some people find with tretinoin they can only get to 3 times a night, 3 times a week, or 4 times a week, that's absolutely fine. If you find that your skin says stop at 3 times a week, then if that's when your end game, you are going to stop at that stage, then fill the days that you don't use it with another retinol, such as the Inculus retinol. Paula's Choice do one. There's some gorgeous ones out there. I wouldn't, if you're still in the building stage, I wouldn't use it in the other evenings, because I think you're just going to risk a reaction. It's going to take you longer to reach your end goal with the tretinoin. So great question, but I wouldn't until you're at that stage where it's stabilized, and then I would fill in with the nights that you're not using the tretinoin. Jenny says the AR serum is fantastic. Yes, Jenny is a huge advocate of the AR serum as a rosacea sufferer. So yeah, it is fantastic. So anyone with redness, buy that serum. You'll never look back. What have I got? Have I ever used the Claude Radiance serum? No, Nazim, I haven't. But I tell you what, I have a video coming up in the next next 2 days on the French Pharmacy skincare, my favorite brands of the French Pharmacy skincare, and I'll give you a top tip, a little sneak preview. Claude is in there, and that serum is mentioned, and I bought it so to try it. It hasn't arrived yet. There's been a huge shipping issue, but it will be on its way, and I will be trying it. Tatiana says happy Friday everyone. It comes around so quick, and it's always I love getting to the weekend. Chandra, hello, welcome. Let's have a look. Who else have we got hello host, hello back. Anyone that's just joined, fantastic. If I just do a quick shout out to anyone who hasn't already, press that thumbs up button. It does actually really help the channel get recognized by YouTube. So if you haven't already, if you can give us this a thumbs up, I'd love you forever. Annabelle says, I'm using the Pixie Glow Tonic in the morning and the retinol in the evening. If I want to put salicylic acid on my T-zone when I'm oily, when's best to do it? Really good question. I would use it in the morning. I just wouldn't put the Pixie Glow Tonic on the bits that you're going to be putting the retinol. So T-zone, use on salicylic acid, sorry. So on the T-zone, put the salicylic. The Blackhead Liquid by CosRx got rid of blackheads. It's a beautiful liquid that I really love that. I borrowed it from a friend who was using it. I haven't actually got one myself. I need to order it because I'm going to do a whole review of CosRx. But yeah, it is really good. Very potent, so be careful with it, but really, really good. Let's have a look. Michaela says, have I used New Face? No, I haven't, Michaela. Is there anything you recommend from the line or want me to try? Because I love recommendations. I basically, after every one of these, I watch this video back with my pen and paper, making the notes of things that I need to try. So yeah, if you've got any recommendations, I would love to hear them. Chandra, says the same question around using tretinoin, adapalene, and whether you should use retinol. So Chandra says she does use just a lower strength retinol on the day she's not using the adapalene. I think that's fine on adapalene. Tretinoin is super strength. So you've got to work out what's right for you and what's right for your skin type. But I think once you get to that stage where you're comfortable knowing which days you're using your retinol, then you can on the other days use a lower strength one. Absolutely no problem. What's my opinion on the Holika Aloe Soothing Sun Cream? Well, I tried it. I didn't like it as much as the Purita Comfy Water. It basically does the same thing, and it's very similar in terms of how it works, its mechanism of action, and its ingredients. I just didn't think it was as invisible as the Purita sunscreen. I didn't think it sunk in as well, and I wasn't as big a fan. So Holika are a great line, but I personally would stick with Purita Comfy Water. There's not a huge amount of price difference, and I personally prefer the Purita Comfy Water, but it's personal choice. The Holika one works. It's very good. It's just not my go-to. Rhea says, can you make a video on the best sunscreens for oily, acne-prone skin? Oh, Rhea, yes. Mental note to self, when I watch this back with my notepad, do a sunscreen for oily skin. Yes. I have suffered with oily, acneic, breakout prone skin for years, and it's a total and utter nightmare, and I've struggled so hard to find the right sunscreen for me. I finally found about 4 that work for me, and yeah, I'm going to share them, but I'm going to film that tomorrow. I'll be out next week because that's such a good idea for a video, and anyone that has oily skin, I know so many of my oily skin friends skip SPF because they can't bear to wear it, and the idea that someone's missing SPF because they haven't found the right one for them makes me so sad because the damage to your skin. Ugh. What do I think about using CeraVe salicylic acid cleanser and moisturizer for smoothing out the texture of the skin? I like CeraVe. I like their cleansing. Their SA cleanser is really good. It's got salicylic acid in there. I think if you want to tackle texture on the skin, you're better getting a salicylic acid serum, because I don't believe that with a cleanser you put it on and you wash it straight off, so you're not getting that real benefit from the salicylic acid because it's not sitting on your skin long enough. I would use the salicylic acid mask by The Ordinary. It's fantastic. Use that 3 times a week. It's going to be far more effective at treating texture in the skin than the CeraVe SA cleanser. The SA cleanser, there's nothing wrong with it. It's really good. It's hydrating as well as providing that salicylic acid. I just don't think it's as good as some of the others. Akit Chowdhury says hi, welcome Akit, thank you for joining us. Morgan Talks says, so proud of you, loving seeing a fellow skincare lover succeed in YouTube. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Morgan's fantastic. If you haven't checked out her channel, you have to. Gorgeous personality, gorgeous video. The content is A+. Definitely check her out if you haven't already. I love her channel. Tom, have a great chat today. Can't wait to watch it back later. Tom, stay safe. Sending lots of love from here in the UK, and hope you have a safe journey back. What have we got here? Jenny says, how are my furry friends? Sterling is glad to be home. I think he's secretly glad to be on his own and not have 2 4 and 5 year olds chasing after him, shouting Sterling every 2 minutes. Because I think he might have worn a bit thin, but he did miss out on getting the treats. Basically, that's a total skincare side note. We have this thing where it's like this rubberized Kong toy. I don't know if you have them in other countries, but so this is rubberized toy, and you squirt this like chicken or horrible flavoured thing into it, and then they have to lick it out this like tiny hole at the bottom, and it like keeps them active for hours. And so you get like squirty cream, you know, like the squirty cream, you put it in, squirt it in, and then give him it. And my niece was obsessed with giving him this toy, so I kept letting her do it like twice a day when he can have it, and it was fine. And then I caught her and him, partners in crime. She was squeezing this tube of squirty chicken paste directly into his mouth, and he was lapping it up, and I was like, oh. So he loved all of the attention, he loved all of that, but now he's banned from treats for like a week because he'll be morbidly obese if we keep going at this rate. Morgan Talk says, I've been contemplating purchasing the SK2. I think I will. It's just a popular. It is, and it's popular for a reason. Morgan, it's really good. I would just say be sparing with it. If you do that way, it'll last about 3 months. So buy it, but be sparing with it because it's really powerful. You don't need to use loads. AR says, I have 0 questions. I'm just here to enjoy some cheese, crackers, and grapes. Absolutely. Do you know what? There is nothing better. I would definitely get some cheese, crackers, and grapes. Oh, sounds absolutely divine. I'm allergic to dairy and milk and everything, and so I have never actually had cheese, except for when I've accidentally had it in things and it's tasted absolutely delicious, and then I've been chronically sick for ages after, but I still know it tastes really good. That's one thing in life I miss. I wish I could have cheese, because I know from the little bits I've had, even it almost was worth it, even for that horrendous sickness afterwards. Some True says, body skincare soon. Yes, body skincare is real. I'm a great believer in on the face doing, like, this is a bit that's going to be exposed to the world and to the environmental pollutants and things, so you spend a lot of money on your face care. Body care seems to get forgotten, but yeah, I'm going to do a body care. I've got some really good moisturizers that I'm testing out at the moment, and some really good like things for supporting with healing, and yeah, body care coming soon, don't you worry. Oh, Chandra says, Morgan, there's some great dupes for the SK2 out there. There are, and I haven't tried any of the dupes. So, Chandra, list them if you know any of them, list them, because I haven't actually tried any of them. I tried the SK2, I loved it, and it's fantastic. And I always think, if you think of the price spread over 3 months, it's not as bad. But there are some dupes out there I know, and people do rave about them. So if you know them, let me know, because I'm willing to try them. What's my opinion on the D-Ran Skin and Spot Brightening Cream? I've never used it. In theory, it will work really well. The ingredients are really good in it. I've never used it because I prefer things like the different dark spot corrector. I just think it's more powerful and likely to work a little bit better, but it's personal choice. It certainly will work. I think it'll just take longer to work than if you got the different one. Let's have it. Jenny, I've had a flare up this week, so I've gone back to basics: cleanse, AR serum, moisturizer until my face calms down. That's a really good point. I think, Jenny, if you do have a flare up, particularly if you have rosacea, then taking it back to basics and just keep it with a core group of things, and then reintroducing stuff gradually is the best way forward. And sorry to hear you've had a flare up, hon, but don't worry, it'll all get, you're doing the right thing, and it'll all get back to normal soon. Donny McCloud says, hi, really nice to see you. Thanks. Have you subscribed? No. Why not? So if you haven't already, click that subscribe button, help a guy out, click the channel, and give it a big thumbs up if you haven't already. Stacey said, do I need to use salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide at the same time? Salicylic acid one day, then benzoyl peroxide the next, and keep alternating. Depends what else you've got in your skincare routine. So if you're using a retinol, retinols can be impacted by benzoyl peroxide. They don't really work well together. It can reduce the efficiency and efficacy of the retinol. So if you're using a benzoyl peroxide, be careful with how it interacts with retinol, with the exception of adapalene. Adapalene is absolutely fine to use with benzoyl peroxide. In terms of salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide, they work beautifully together, and you can absolutely use them at the same time. What you need to work out, though, is can your skin tolerate it? Because what you don't want is to increase sensitivity and dryness because you're using the two together. So patch test it. I would use the salicylic acid, use the benzoyl peroxide, first, and then add salicylic acid in and see how your skin reacts to it. If you start getting dry, inflamed, red, sensitive, obviously stop, and it's not right for you. But no, a lot of people manage to use them together, no problems at all. Let's have a look. Pajama Mama, hello, welcome, thanks for joining. Says, have I tried the ordinary bee oil? If so, what do I think? I've been using the marula oil sometimes when my skin is really dry. I'm thinking of switching to the bee oil instead. I think both of them do a reasonably similar thing. The marula oil is really good. I mean, that is basically, marula oil is what the whole ethos of Drunk Elephant's about. For those of the skincare side, most of you might know this already, but marula oil, the marula tree is what elephants, if they eat, get quite intoxicated. And because it's in all of Drunk Elephant products, they decided to call it Drunk Elephant. So that's kind of where the name came from, if anyone was ever wondering. I love marula oil. It's a fantastic oil. It's very hydrating. It can be a tad clogging for some people, but generally it's quite well tolerated in the skin. And the bee oil is fantastic, but will give you similar results. So I think it's personal preference. If it was me, I would buy the bee oil. So you've tried it, and I tried the two and work out which is the one that's right for you, because I think it's going to be personal preference. I personally would probably choose the bee oil, but there's no real reason. I just prefer the texture slightly. I would, if you once you finish your marula oil, buy the bee oil, try it, and then work out which one is your personal favorite, because they both do very similar things, and they'll both keep you very hydrated. I would say there is a moisturizer out there for everybody, but nobody should be just using the first one they come across in the drugstore. If you are oily, and acneic and breakout prone, the best moisturizer, holy grail, the only one worth using is the Hydra Boost Gel by Neutrogena. I love that product. It is lightweight, it's non-comedogenic, it's not greasy, you don't feel like you're wearing a mask. I love it. If you are dry and if you have any rosacea or any dermatitis, or you're just super dry, the Cicaplast Balm by La Roche-Posay is beautiful, packed full of lipids, peptides, and panthenol, so it's going to support the barrier function, and it's going to reduce any irritation and soreness that comes with it. So I love that. That's what panthenol does, which is fantastic. For everyone that sits in between, you can be a little bit more choosy. Moisturizer is one time I would probably stay away from fragrance. It's sitting on the skin all day, and so you don't want that fragrance to be sat on there all day if you can avoid it. So moisturizer, I probably would avoid fragrance. But you've got plenty of choice. But if you're super dry, Cicaplast Balm. If you're super oily, Hydra Boost Gel. In the middle, I just go for your normal one. Moisturizer, just make sure you don't pay more than $10 for a moisturizer. You're being ripped off if you do, because actually there's some amazing ones out there that don't cost the earth. The natural moisturizing factors by The Ordinary, beautiful, really effective, really cheap. I think it's £4.50 here in the UK, $6. If you want something that's a little bit new and a little bit, I'll give you a little secret hint tip, is the Turmeric Cream by the Inculist is fantastic for people that are a little bit sensitive. Turmeric's really calming, soothing. It's also got a little bit of a brightening element to it. So that's a fantastic, and that's pretty unique out there. So try that one out as well. They're all really good ones. Susie Poo says, do I know the brand La Roche-Posay? Oh, Susie, I do. And I love the brand La Roche-Posay, from their low thermal through to their Effaclar range. I love their Cicaplast Balm. Everything about them. They will be, not surprisingly, featuring in my best of the French pharmacy skincare, which is coming out next week. That and Claude, I've practically given the video away now, you don't need to watch. But there's loads of really good ones in there. But yeah, La Roche-Posay, absolutely beautiful brand. What's my opinion on the Face Shop Rice Water Bright Light cleansing oil for oily, acne-prone skin? So I really like rice as an ingredient. It's very calming. It can help with inflammation. It can be quite brightening because the enzymes in there. It's really good. I personally don't rate the. That's just my personal preference. It's absolutely fine to use if you have got oily or acneic skin. No issue with that. I just don't find it to be the most effective. I think if you want a drugstore priced cleansing oil, I would try something like Evolve. It's not really drugstore, but Evolve Organic Beauty do a beautiful one. You can get the Square Lane by The Ordinary, that turns into an oil. That's really, when you heat it up in your hands, that's really good as a cleanser. The Inculist do one. There's loads out there. I don't particularly rate the rice one from the Body Shop, but it's personal preference. Rhea says, we need your skincare routine. I've done my skincare routine. Check it. I did a video on my skincare routine where I basically did an evening one, and I did an evening one and a morning one. Yeah, I've done both, so check it out. It's changed a little bit. I do have to keep updating it because I keep changing it, but I do need to update it. Nazim said, best solution for blackheads. First of all, don't pick. When I see people squeezing, it impacts the pores and it can break and damage the lining of the pore and the structure of the pore walls, so you end up with bigger pores overall. So never squeeze, that's top tip. Never use those awful rip-off masks, nose strips, never ever do them, they're awful. I would get a salicylic acid, because that's going to help in a mask form. The ordinary salicylic 2% mask, fantastic. 3 times a week, you'll notice a difference within about 3 weeks in the number of blackheads you've got. Definitely get a clay, a bentonite clay. There's some really good ones out there, so I won't give you a full list. Just anyone that's a bentonite clay, and again, that'll just soak up the oil, because what you're looking to do, blackheads are the gunk that's in the pore. When it touches the oxygen, it turns black. It oxidizes and it turns black, which is what gives you the blackhead. When you put like a blackhead strip over it, you're pulling it off and you're pulling that top layer of gunk off, which means the gunk underneath is then exposed to oxygen and then it turns black again. So you get about a 20-minute reprieve before you're back to square one. Useless. Best way to do it is clear out the pore, and the best way to do that is with the salicylic acid, a retinol, a bentonite clay, things like that. That's going to be the things that make the difference long term. Annabelle says, talking of dupes, Aldi La Cura have just come out with some pixie dupes. They're £4. Everybody keeps telling me about this. I have had so many DMs and messages about this. I love La Cura as a skincare routine. Aldi, for those of you that don't know, is like the bargain basement, world's cheapest supermarket ever here in the UK and in Europe. Really good though. Some of the food's quite nice, but their skincare is amazing. They've come out this week with a retinol tonic, which is a total dupe for the Pixie Retinol Tonic. I couldn't get it when I went to Aldi the other day to see if I could get it. Couldn't get it. Queued for like an hour. Couldn't get it. But I am going to try it because everyone's been saying it's a total dupe. But then I'm a little bit skeptical because a lot of people say it's a total dupe the second it comes out. The ingredients might look the same, but that does not mean it's a dupe. It has to work the same, feel the same, and deliver the same benefits. So I will tell you if it's a dupe in a couple of weeks. JK Loves Meow says, I want to pop on in my lunch break. Love your content. Thank you so much for joining. That's so kind. And enjoy your lunch. What are you having for lunch? Here in the UK, what did I have? I can't remember now. It was so inspiring. I can't remember. Oh, I think it was a really bad soup actually, but so we won't go there. We won't touch on that. Annabelle Aldington, I'm completely obsessed with this channel. Thank you, Annabelle. I love that. I love that I've created an obsession. I've always wanted to create an obsession, but the number of people watching this channel has gone through the roof recently, and I'm so grateful. We're getting about 2,500 to 3,000 views a day, which is just like mind-blowing that number of people are connected with the channel, and it's just fantastic. And just thank you all so much. Obviously the people that tend to be on these chats once a week are hardcore fans, so I'm even more grateful for all of you guys for sticking with the channel, supporting the channel, and just being there. I love this. This is my hobby, and I honestly, if this turned into a full-time job, I would not be upset because I've been living the dream. But in the meantime, I absolutely just love sharing content and engaging with you guys. It's a total hobby. The sort of things you can do to help support the channel is we give away all our sponsorship money. So all the, if you watch the ads, we're giving half away to charity, and the other half we reinvest in the channel with things like giveaways and providing gifts to you guys. So we don't actually make any money off the ads. But I'm okay with that, and we don't do sponsored links, where people put buy my product using this link and get commission, because it's just not what we're in it for. So if you want to help the channel, you don't have to do all of that, pay money, it doesn't have to cost you anything. Literally just hitting the like button on videos is apparently the best way of YouTube picking up your videos, and they're picking up some of them so far, so that's really good. And leaving a comment, saying something nice, it just means the world to me, so thank you all so much. Chandra said about the Time Revolution First Essence is the greatest dupe for SK2. Oh, when I watch this back, I'll make a note of that and buy that, because I do really want to try some dupes for these expensive products, because I get hooked. If someone says this is amazing, I buy that and I stick with it. I think we should. Jenny says, you know me, lol, I got too excited with the PHA turned of oh, this is why you've had the flare up, is it? What have you worked out what it might have been that caused the flare up, or is it still a bit unknown? Because getting to the bottom of what caused it obviously helps prevent it in the future. Oh, what does the ingredient Urea do in skincare? It's just Urea is fantastic. It's just a super moisturizing agent, so it'll just provide barrier function, protection, and super hydration. It's a beautiful ingredient. A lot of them come in cracked heel creams, so you'll often find a high Urea content in things that deal with cracked heels, because anyone who's had cracked heels know they're really hard to keep moisturized. But urea is a fantastic, fantastic ingredient for moisturising. I often say to people, if they have some super, super dry skin, and I mean like tried everything and it doesn't work, I always say to them, get a cracked heel repair balm that you're supposed to put on your feet, but actually they're so good at hydrating and they will really sort it. If everything else has failed, that'll sort you out. So urea is fantastic, yeah. What have we got here? Oh, Sue says, please talk about the Avène cleanser on your next video about French brands. I have already filmed it, so I can't go back, but Avène are included in there, so do not worry, Avène are in there. I tend to film the big videos, which are like the skincare ones where I have to insert and do a lot of editing and all of this. I tend to film them a couple of days in advance so I can do the editing over a period of time. So that's already filmed, but don't worry, Avène are in there. Chandra says, I'm jealous of Aldi haul. We don't have an Aldi here. We have an Aldi here in the US, but it's not the same at all. Oh, Chandra, it's a shame. If you come to the UK, because I mean, the thing is, there's no point me gifting. They're all like £3, like $4. So it's not a gift to give someone something from Aldi, but the gift is it's really good for your purse. So if you ever make a trip over here, Chandra, I will take you to an Aldi and you can experience all the skincare. I would say the big problem I've got with Aldi and Lidl, their skincare is really good, but they never ever have the stuff you want in stock. Like you turn up one day and they've got one item in. The next day they've got 2 items in. It's a bit hit and miss. I wish they were just more consistent. Obviously it sells well, so that's a sign that it's working and people love it, but I just wish they were a bit more consistent with what they actually had in stock. Tatiana said, I've just ordered the APU Madagascar Silica Gel with Centella, Niacinamide and Panthenol. That is a lot of words. Promise me you will tell me exactly what it's like, because I would love to know and I might be tempted to buy it myself. Nathan says, do I work out at home? Do you work out at home? No, I am the world's laziest person. I walk the dog twice a day. That's kind of my exercise. I do like swimming, but the swimming baths have been closed for like 3 months, 4 months. So I'm just sitting here binge eating and exploding. I'll be like a beached whale by the time all this lockdown's going. Now I like to exercise, but I'm kind of not that keen on it, and I work from home. Like my day-to-day job works from home as well, so it's really difficult when you're in the house to then be motivated to do any exercise in the house. You just feel like you're trapped before 4 walls. So walking the dog is my exercise and I'm sticking by it. Mad said, can you use the ordinary mandelic acid and the gram-active retinoid in squalene together? I've heard you shouldn't use retinoids with acids, but my skin seems to be handling it okay so far. Really good question, Mads. And actually it's not that your skin can't handle it, it's that the some of the retinoids and some of the acids can interact with the retinoids and make them less effective. So it's not that it'll damage your skin particularly, it's that the retinol might not be as potent because you've denatured it with an acid. Mandelic acid and azelaic acid are absolutely fine. It's more the liquid forms such as glycolic acid toners that you should generally avoid. I would just say buffer them. So if you're putting, make sure you've got a step in between the application of the two and you'll be absolutely fine. A hyaluronic acid is a really good buffer. So put one on, hyaluronic acid, put the other one on, you'll be absolutely fine. Stacey, so freaking happy that your channel is growing so much. I've gotten a lot of great information. Thank you. So I'll watch till you hit the 1 million mark. Oh, that would be the dream. That would be the, do you know what? I love sharing people's success, and I've been a big fan of Hiram since whenever he started. I can't remember, years ago. I joined him at like the 250,000 subscriber mark, and I was over the moon when he hit 1 million. And I look forward to seeing some other big, because I think I love to see all beauty and skincare YouTubers grow. I think there's some of my favourite ones there. But I'm also really addicted to some small, I'm going to say smaller, not in an insulting way, but like not 1 million. I love Matt Randon. If you haven't checked his channel out, it's really good. It's sort of like skincare with a bit of sass. I love that. James Just Now. I can't remember. Also, he's really good, from the UK. Really, really love him. And I think he has quite a unique perspective on skincare, and I really, he's a big supporter of this channel. I'm a big supporter of his channel. I think he's fantastic, and he's from the UK as well. There's just some really good male skincare like influencers out there, and I aspire to be as amazing as some of these, because like Adam Robert Lamb is fantastic. I think Hiram has led the way with a lot of this. I think it's just a little bit of a shame that we all kind of get compared to each other. I get messages saying, you're just like Hiram, you're copying off Hiram, and someone else says, oh, you're just like so-so. I'm like, no, come at it from a different perspective. The there's a limited amount of stuff you could talk about. So there's all bound to be crossovers and stuff. But it's like I did a video. Oh, what was it on? I did a video on something the other week, and then literally skin purging. I did a skin purging video about 2 weeks ago, and Hiram did one about 5 days later. I'm like, doesn't mean anyone's copied. Like I'd be so lucky. I would be overwhelmed if he decided to comment. And his got like 700,000 views. Mine got 500, and I was pleased. But it's that sort of thing that people always think you're copying. And when the roles reversed, when I did a video that after Hiram had done one, and someone was like, just copying, trading off or something. Oh, get away. Bloody keyboard Poindexters. Move on. I think we should all be supporting each other. And I think it's just, there's some fantastic YouTubers out there. And I actually do want to do a video where I just shout out amazing YouTubers. Chris Gibson is a fantastic, if you haven't checked him out, he is literally amazing. What he doesn't know about the science behind skincare is out of this world. He's amazing, so check him out. Yeah, I kind of want to do a video of my favorite YouTubers, my favorite like skincare YouTubers. Let me know if you'd be interested in that, or whether it's just a bit gimmicky. Let me know. I'd love to. Let's have a look. Jenny said, I used the Inclix Retinol, PHA Toner and Multibionic Moisturizer in the same week, so I'm not sure which one it was. I get you, Jenny. I do that because I buy these things, I like pile it on, and the challenge you're always going to have is working out. If you introduce them one at a time, you'll know if you have a reaction, but it's not my nature either. I just pile it all on because I'm desperate to try everything. Miriam says, I'll be shopping for a brand new skincare routine. Cystic acne, especially around the chin area. Could I recommend me some products to buy? Miriam, yes. DM me on Instagram at SkinMad, and I could talk you through a whole cystic acne skincare routine. And we could talk about like because I don't know what price point you want or what country you're in, so I can know which products will be available in your country. But if you DM me on Instagram at SkinMad, I will get back to you. Give me a couple of days because I've got lots of things to get back to on that. But I will get back to you with some questions that can build a skincare routine. Go out and I will buy you the most expensive and luxurious box of wine going, and I'll ship it out to you to celebrate with me. Chandra says, love Matt Randon, James Walsh and Cassandra Bankson too. Do you know, I love James Welsh. His brother, like, I'm going to say twin brother because they look identical, but I don't actually know that. Robert, I think it is, does amazing makeup stuff as well. Makeup isn't my, like, I don't know anything about it. I've never applied it, but somehow there's something quite cathartic and like soothing about watching people like transform themselves. He does some gorgeous stuff as well. But yeah, James is amazing. Love him. Mel says, what is a good cleanser for dry skin? So all cleansers, I genuinely think all cleansers dry your skin out to some extent, because what you're doing is you're applying something to then wash off the essential oils that are already in your skin. I say essential oils, I mean like the protective oils that are in your skin. So all cleansers, even the best in the world, are going to dry to some extent. So you want to look for the least drying, and to me the least drying is probably the Oat Cleansing Balm by the Inculist. That's fantastic. You can use it as a mask as well, so it will actually hydrate. If you put it on as a mask, it will provide hydration, so that's fantastic. I really like the Cleansing Melt by Evolve Organic Beauty. That's beautiful, and that's barely drying. It's a beautiful oil, it smells divine, and it's really, really hydrating, so it minimizes any drying you're going to get. Square Lane's a really good cleanser because that's about as natural as it comes in terms of just one product, one ingredient, putting it on, washing it off. I would just stay away from too many actives in your cleanser, because I don't think you get the benefit because you're just putting it on and washing it off. But yeah, there's some great ones there. So what do I introduce to my skin first, glycolic acid or niacinamide? Your choice, Sue. I just wouldn't do them both at the same time. I think if you introduce both at the same time, it's going to be too much for your skin. I personally would introduce the glycolic acid because I think that's the one that you definitely need in your skincare routine. The niacinamides are nice to have. So introduce the glycolic acid if you love it, then keep going. If then you can talk about adding the niacinamide at a later date. I think getting your exfoliator right is key, and then adding on from there. Let's have a look. Shanda says, you will definitely hit 1 million. It's really cool to see you grow every single day. Thank you, Shanda. I hope so. It never seems like a chore doing this. I love this. This is like a hobby all in one. I love it, and it never seems like a chore. And when you're on an upward trajectory, it's just really, all the other skincare gurus and enthusiasts I see, I love them all. So yeah, it's just a pleasure to be doing, to be honest. The Sue show is amazing as Hira. I love you both. I wish. Sue, I would. One day. No, he's a trailblazer. I think a lot of male influencers have, particularly in the skincare realm, I don't mean some other things, but in the skincare and makeup realm, have a lot to thank him for, because it takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there, as he did, when very few people were doing it, and go there. I disagree with him passionately on a number of things, particularly things like fragrances, skincare, and approaches to things like that. But that's absolutely fine. I think you should always acknowledge, like, when someone's a trailblazer and actually leading the way to make it possible for other people to do stuff. So yeah, huge fan. Let's have a look. Oh, did I ever get or try any of the Youth of the People skincare items? I have been waiting. I've had it on order for, here in the UK, to be fair, it's not their fault. Here in the UK, our postal system is on its knees bad when it comes to delivery. And it's not, again, not any shade on the postal system, because with everything going on, I'm not surprised, but it has been quite slow. So I've been waiting 4 weeks for my Youth of the People stuff, and I am desperate to try it. And every day I've been Googling like reviews so I can see what I can expect. So when it does, I'm going to do a whole review on it. So I've waited long enough. It's going to get a whole review. Don't you worry. Nathan says, nice sofa. Nathan, thank you. You're welcome. Come on over. Bring a box of wine. Have a sit down. I always like to do it in my living room. I normally film most of my videos in the spare bedroom, because A, it's the tidiest room and you can't see all the junk hanging around. But I like to do these in the living room because I'm kind of like, it feels a bit more like chatty, and like we're sat here having a cup of tea, having a wine or whatever, and chatting. So yeah, this sofa is dog and cat proof, which is all I ask for in a piece of furniture. Andrew says, can I please suggest best product for wrinkles and hyperpigmentation from The Ordinary or Inculus? Love your videos. Thank you ever so much. Yes, wrinkles, definitely get the Azura line solution. That is going to be fantastic on the fine lines like the crow's feet, the laughter lines, and the frown lines in the middle of the temple. That is honestly game changing. You use it twice a day, it sinks in, it's £5 from The Ordinary, beautiful product. Definitely that's like the number one for wrinkles. I did just do a best drugstore, like The Ordinary wrinkle thing, so check that video, so check that out. Hyperpigmentation is a little bit difficult because you need a number of products. I personally think is a reasonable price and will deliver fantastic. I know it's not The Ordinary or Inculus, but it will deliver. Failing that, Alpha Arbutin will help to brighten. That's available at both. And just a really good exfoliation routine. So, yeah, Jenny says, I'm excited for you to try the Biossance Omega Repair Cream, as I know shipping takes a while. Yeah, honestly, if shipping got its bum in gear, I would have a porch full of deliveries. And I think they're all going to come at the same time, which I'm kind of excited about because I can do a bit of an unboxing. I've always wanted to be one of those bougie YouTubers. I see Chatty do it and I absolutely love them, where they do this grand, opening up. I've got some PR stuff that's been sent through that I haven't opened yet, which is really exciting. And I've got loads of stuff I've bought. So I'm going to do like a big unboxing. It's not going to be as big, bougie and lavish as the likes of Chatty, but in my own little way, I'll be doing an unboxing. Let's have a look. Sue said, it makes me sad that all these affordable products are luxury brands in my country. I know. I'm really sorry. I talk about affordable, which is usually what's here in the UK or the US. And I know in some countries it is so ruinously expensive, and some products are so expensive. Canada and Australia are really funny in terms of the pricing, because some stuff is super cheap in Canada and Australia that's really expensive here, and other things are really expensive when it's cheap here. And might be to do with the exchange rate in both countries. But then there's some other places, particularly like the Middle East, where I've got some subscribers from the Middle East that have said, actually, all these affordable products with taxes and imports and stuff cost so much. So I do know what's affordable here in the UK or in the US isn't always actually affordable in other countries. AR says, how do you rate the rosé boxed wine? Do you know what? I can't remember the brand. Tesco here in the UK. If you live in the UK, they do their own brand of boxed rosé. It's actually really nice. Very much needs to be chilled. I might even recommend you put an ice cube in it, which is the mark of a good wine, but beautiful. They do another one called Blush. Avoid that. Literally comes out of the dispenser with a head on it. No one wants a frothy rosé. Never. Chandra says, I'm a fan of boxed wine. I'm not picky. No, do you know what, Chandra? It's not about being picky. I read somewhere, it was in one of the newspapers here, that people are turning to boxed wine because it is much more environmentally friendly than coming in glass bottles. So I drink it because I'm environmentally conscious and cheap. But it's fine. I actually quite like it. Jenny says, oh yes, have to do an unboxing. I do. I just want to leave it long enough that there's actually some stuff. You have to pad out a video to 10 minutes. As soon as that happens, I'll do an unboxing. What have we got? Now, guys, we are coming towards last questions. Anyone got any last questions? Because we are coming towards the hour mark. I can't believe how quick this goes. Like, honestly, it feels like we've been on here like 10 minutes. It's ridiculous. Oh, and I forgot the mask. Actually, I'm not sad that I forgot this mask because I don't think it's going to be any good. This is the, actually, I'm not going to shade it before I've tried it. This is the Moisture Bomb Eye Tissue Mask, enriched with orange juice and hyaluronic acid. The reason I don't like this is it says it's going to brighten because it's got vitamin C in it. I don't like it when they say orange juice because, yes, orange juice has vitamin C if you drink it, but it's not the same. You can't just plaster orange juice on your face and think it's giving you vitamin C. So that's a bit gimmicky. But hyaluronic acid, yeah, visibly reduces eye bags and brightens the eye contour. Well, I'm going to save this one. I'll do this in the week. I might do an eye mask review, actually, because a couple of people have asked that, so I might save this one. But I love chatting with you all. So do we have any final questions? Pajama Mama said, I've been having good success with the Dear Skin Tranex for my hyperpigmentation, in addition to retinol, ascorbic acid, buffet, arbutin, and niacin. Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. If you can get the Dear Skin, because it's not available everywhere, but if you can get it, it's a beautiful product. Chandra says, I don't know how you do it. I get lost in all these comments. Luckily, it's really easy. Like, they now let you do it. I'm filming this on my phone and you can scroll up and down. It's really easy. YouTube have made it so easy to do lives. Apparently, it used to be a nightmare and you used to have like a separate thing. I know that Hiram films his on his proper camera setup, but that I think is because he gets a better picture quality and things like that, so I totally get it. But then he has to have a separate iPad to sort of read the comments and stuff. Luckily, if you do it on your phone, you sacrifice a little bit of the sharpness of the imagery and stuff, but actually it's so much easier to chat to you guys. So it's kind of like it's a toss-up between the two. Jenny says, what's on tonight's menu? Tonight I am having what am I having? Oh, we're having a Jamaica. So a friend of mine is Jamaican and gave me a killer recipe for jambalaya, which I'm not even sure what that is. It basically, I think it's a bit like a cross between a paella and a risotto with some Caribbean twist influence. Anyway, looks amazing. Gave me a recipe. I had it around his and it was really, really nice. So I'm making that tonight. It could be a total success or an utter disaster because I do not have a Caribbean bone in my body. So I don't know if you have to have like the love and the experience to make it work. His was absolutely. What foods are bad for acne prone skin? I think, if I'm honest, it's a little bit of a myth that foods can impact one specific food can impact your overall appearance of your skin. Over time, yes, eating more fruit, vegetables, getting essential minerals and nutrients in will absolutely improve the quality of the skin, as will drinking more water. But like the idea that some foods are bad for the skin, I don't fully buy into it, with one exception, and that is dairy. And that's not to rubbish I'm lactose free and I still have acne, so it's not like the cure-all. But there is a body of scientific evidence that says, because if you compare the hormone levels in milks and dairy today compared to say 50 years ago, they've gone through the roof because of various farming practices and sort of how these things change. So it's not bad and it's perfectly safe and healthy to eat, and I would never suggest to anybody that they change their diet because of that. But there is some studies to say that drinking milk, dairy, and the hormones in dairy can impact cystic acne. So I'd recommend you have a look at that online and see if you believe the science behind that. Particularly if your acne is cystic and hormonally led, then dairy can have an impact on that. With the exception of that, I don't think there's any other fruit. I'll tell you a really sad story, and this isn't to get any pity because do you know what? I'm over it. I moved on. Dark chocolate. I'm absolutely fine, no milk in it. I've always been able to have that. I used to love dark chocolate as a teenager, and my skin was like awful. I had the worst acne. It was cystic. It was flared up. It was so painful, and I felt so self-conscious and hated my skin so much. And I used to eat chocolate because I like chocolate and it made me feel happy, and who doesn't need a treat in their life? And and it was a family member, and it came from a kind place, so don't get me wrong. It came from a kind place, and somebody said, your problem with your skin is you eat too much chocolate. I've read somewhere that it's bad for your skin and you should stop eating chocolate. And I did. I stopped eating chocolate because I felt so embarrassed and awful about it and self-conscious about it that I stopped eating chocolate, and I haven't had dark chocolate since. And that is so tragic because I guess it comes from two places. One, I always say to people, be mindful of what you say to people about their skin because it can be quite triggering. And actually, it comes from a kind place. Like, that person was coming from a very kind place and is a loving family member. And it comes from a kind place, but can actually be quite damaging in the long term. Still haven't eaten bloody dark chocolate since, so it's clearly left its mark. But it's also not true. There is no scientific proof that dark chocolate can lead to an increase in acne. So I would just be mindful of not getting too hung up on food. A little of what you enjoy. getting your fruit and veg and your vitamins in there, and just making sure you live a healthy lifestyle. But there's no one thing except for dairy. Check that out online and just see what you read up on it. And I'm not a dietitian, so I don't want to make any recommendations, but have a look at that because there is some science behind it. So Pajama Mum says, I got the deer skin from Amazon here in the UK. Oh, I'll make a note. When I watch this back, I'll make a note and I'll go on Amazon and have a look because I have been wanting to try it. Rhea says, my neck is darker than my face because I never used to wear sunscreen on my neck. How do I lighten the neck so it matches my face? That's a really good question. You'd have to treat it as an all-over pigment issue. I do tend to focus on the face, less the neck, and there can be that difference. I don't think a little bit of difference is an issue. I think when it's markedly different, people do feel self-conscious. If you can afford it, and this is a big if because I don't want to force expensive products on people. If you can afford it, the repigment from Niod, which I reviewed in my video this morning, so check that out if you haven't already. That would solve the problem and really help to even out that pigment within about 4 weeks. So you'll get a really quick turnaround, which is what we all want. It is expensive. I think off the top of my head, it's £35, about $50. So that is expensive. If you can't afford that, then try an alpha arbutin and just put it on the area that you're concerned. You can get one from the Inculist or the Ordinary for like $5. Put it on the area that you're concerned and you'll notice a difference. It will just take longer to work, but it depends on what your price point is. Chandra Croc says jambalaya is rice with a bunch of spices and usually sausage, so it's good. Yes, that is what I have bought. I bought everything I was told to buy. So in theory, it should work out beautifully, but I'm not a cook. I'm enthusiastic, but I don't think my enthusiasm matches the results. Isra says, what do we think of the I'm from rice toner or rice-based products in general? Yeah, so the I'm from rice, to do the I'm from cucumber and all this stuff. I actually quite like the line. It's very clear, very easy to use. Rice is really good in products. It's anti-inflammatory. It can really help with the enzymes in there, can really help as a light exfoliator. Just be really careful with rice that you're not using it with crushed rice beads in it because it can still damage your skin. It's natural, but it can still tear and create micro tears in the skin. But if it's in a toner, yeah, fantastic. Because usually what it is just the water from soaked rice. It's got all the goodness without any risk of irritation from beads and things like that in it. Love rice. Rhea says, what's my favourite skincare brand? Oh, it depends what day you catch me on as to what my favourite skincare brand is. Today, Neo. In terms of what I promote here most, probably the Ordinary or the Inculist. Both fantastic. They're both amazing when it comes to price point and delivering what they say they're going to deliver. So it depends on your price point. So I would say either Niod, however you want to say it, or the Ordinary Inculist. Depends on what your price point is. Jenny says, I'll send you some of tonight's pizza. Yeah. Pad Thai. Oh, I love Pad Thai. Yeah. All over that. I love Thai food is like one of my favorites. George Diet says, hi George, welcome. What are my favorite apps or websites for finding the best products, including K Beauty? Oh, I don't actually, I'm a bit lazy. I tend to work out what I want. I do the research first, work out what product I want, and then I'll Google it and find the cheapest price online from a trusted source. But if I was gonna do a bit of research, Cult Beauty are a fantastic website for finding out things that I didn't know I wanted. You go on Cult Beauty and you will find so many things you didn't know you wanted, but you now need. I think they're really good. I think The Ordinary and Decium in general do really good. You can actually speak to Miriam highlighted this to me today. You can actually log on and speak to one of their ambassadors and they'll actually put together a skincare routine based on what your concerns are and what you want to treat, which I think is fantastic. And I don't know any other company that offers that like online, so that's amazing. But I say Cult Beauty is probably my go-to. I love Space NK. If I can go to a physical store, my favorite thing in the world to do is to just spend my lunch hour wandering around Space NK, which is sort of like a boutique indie skincare brand company here in the UK. I love that. I love that. Nikita says, what do you do when your serums make your skin feel tacky? The solution is find another serum. I know that's a bit of a cop-out, but I found that the hyaluronic acid by The Ordinary did just that. Never sunk in, didn't work for my skin. People love it, didn't work for my skin, so I changed serum. If you really want it to work, the solution is to put a serum that doesn't make it tacky, doesn't feel tacky, over the top of it, and that will mask that tackiness. So work out which ones do create that tackiness on the skin and use them first and then follow it with other things. By the time you've locked it in with your moisturizer, I guess it shouldn't feel tacky anyway, but it's a really good question. I think the solution is to find one that works as well, that isn't tacky, and I know that's quite hard to do. Jenny says, thank you for being so amazing to all of us, Rob. We love you. I'm taking the next flight to your place. Oh, Jenny, you are welcome anytime. Look, there's a seat right here for you. You are welcome anytime. You literally have to get past the barrage of cat and dog attention at the door. You'll probably take you an hour to actually sit down. But both. Glycolic acid, I use a 7% toning solution every day. That should be your toner and your exfoliator in one. The L-ascorbic acid, you can use it every day, mix it very weak, and you can use it as a serum, or once a week, use it in quite a high concentration as a mask. Both are fantastic. And Jenny says, I can't believe Niacinamide actually made you speechless, Rob. Yes, I kept that in because I was umming and ahhing. I was talking about the products in today's video, and I kept it in because I thought it was a bit more authentic, but there is a bit where I literally was a bit gagged for words. And I thought, oh, does anyone want a dramatic pause? But I think if it comes from the heart, it's not one of those like really fake American Idol pause before the shock announcement pauses. I think it's fine. And I kept it in because I was genuinely speechless with how good their products were. I don't want to spend £4,000 on everything from their line, but they kind of make me want to. Tatiana says, I had so much fun listening and reading. Thank you for being so welcoming. Tatiana, you are welcome anytime, my love. Anytime at all. So we've got, let's see, we've got 2 more questions. Isra says, I've been seeing snail skincare products lately. Is like snail infused sheet masks. Would you ever use Urea? I have reviewed them, Isra. I've done a snail, I did the CosRx Snail Mucin Power Essence review. Watch the video because obviously you should watch the video. But if you want a brief synopsis, I think it's fine. So it's really good as a hydrator. So snail slime, mucin, whatever you want to call it, is packed full of equivalents to hyaluronic acid. So really good humectant and will keep the skin moisturized. For me, it was just too much. It just felt quite snaily. It was too much for me. I couldn't get over the feeling and sensation of the sliminess of it. So I'd check that video out and work out whether you want that one. In the comments of that video, some people recommended some creams that have it in and some other things that are less slimy. So you might want to go for one of those. But check out that video and read the comments below because some people made some really good recommendations. But yes, in theory, I'm in favour of it. Just didn't really like the one that I tried. Right, guys, we're over time again. Miriam says, thanks for the great chit chat. Thank you, Miriam. Sue says, thanks for joining. Isra, don't you worry, my love. You are a new subscriber. Welcome. Check out that video. There's no harm in asking the question. If I've already done a video on it, I'll just direct you to the video, but you are more than welcome. And if you haven't, guys, make sure you tap the subscribe button and ring that thumbs up. Give us a video a like, because apparently that's what YouTube measures success by. It's tragic that in this world we're all measured by the number of likes we get. But if you could smash that like button, that would really help. I'll see you in the next videos. Take care. Bye.